Hello FPL and welcome to yet another episode of the 2021-2022 English Premier League season. We begin off with a Game Week 4 team review, and these are my team performed at the end of the Game Week 4 fixtures. I was able to come up with 48 points, with the average of the FPL managers having 57 points, and the highest came up with 120 points. It was a poor performance at the end of this Game Week 4 fixture, with many of my standout players failing to perform, or maybe even failing to feature in the Game Week 4 fixtures. And I'm going to begin off with my top performers, and then maybe also finish off with my poor performers. And as you can see, my standout player for the Game Week 4 fixtures was Cristiano Ronaldo, who was a must-have, I think, for every fantasy manager's team. And as you can see, he was able to register 13 points on his first fixture. And then followed by Salah, who was able to come up with 16 points all round. Our goalkeeper Sanchez, who was able to register 6 points. Luke Shaw from Manchester United was also able to come up with 5 points. And I think those were the few players that helped boost our Game Week 4 total score of 48. And as you can see, going into this game week, and then also at conclusion, we had some players who were not able to feature in the fixtures for their teams. And one of them was Heung-min Son, who wasn't able to feature due to an injury. And then also Eric Dyer, who started the game. However, he wasn't able to complete and came off with an injury before first half. The other player who actually performed poorly was Mikel Antonio, who received a red card during his fixture over the Game Week 4 and was only able to come up with -1 point. I think it was a really poor performance from my team. And going into this Game Week 5 fixtures, changes have to be made, and I'm going to be activating my Wildcard chip, so stay tuned for the changes to come. Following up our poor performance in our Game Week 4 fixtures, I'm going to be activating my Wildcard chip ahead of my Game Week 5 transfer deadline. And changes are bound to be made to this team, and we're going to give it a new look. So I was able to come up with a draft of the people who I want to be included in my Game Week 5 fixtures, and team overall, team squad selection overall. And these are we're going to line up. So I'm going to maintain Sanchez in goal, and for Martinez, since he lacks much fitness, I'm going to release him, and I'm going to bring in a cheaper option. So here, for his alternative, I'm looking at Gunn from Norwich. He's a low cost and low budget pick. And in defense, I'm also going to go in for Alexander Arnold, who has been really on form since the start of the 2021-2022 English Premier League season. And then by his side, I'm also going to boost him up with White from Arsenal. I think he has promising fixtures to come. And besides him as well, I'm also going to replace Amati with a low budget pick. Let me see, someone maybe 3.9, and here we're going to have this guy from Norwich. It's called Omobami. I think his name still continues, but I think that's a short form for his name, Omo. And then for target, we're also replacing him, and we're going to free up some funds and bring in probably a Wolves defender. So we're looking at Markle, who also has favorable fixtures, and we're also hoping for clean sheets from him. So up front, I think it's going to be a straight swap for Antonio. This is going to miss out for at least 2 game weeks. So we're going to bring in Lukaku. I think he's the right pick if I'm to revise old terms and prospects. So for Heung-min Son, he's also going to make way in my team, and I'm going to replace him with Gray from Everton, who has also been able to register massive points in his previous Game Week fixtures. And to his side, we're going to upgrade Diego Jota. I still want him in my team going into his Game Week fixtures against Crystal Palace, but I think we have to really redefine our team. So for this, I'm looking at Rafinha and Salah. We're going to maintain him. Up front, we're going to downgrade Ivan Toney to someone format for cheaper, probably a low budget pick. So for this guy, I'm looking at Locadia. So Locadia, he doesn't really feature much, but he's a low budget pick, so we wouldn't really put in too much consideration to it. So for the next budget pick, low budget pick in our midfield, we're going to look for someone under the total price of £5. So here I'm looking at let me say Gilmore, someone from Norwich, someone cheap, and as you can see, he's a constant in the Norwich team. So from him, we're looking at set pieces, assists, and maybe also goals going forward. So as you can see, I have some money left in the bank, and with this, I'm going to upgrade Dallas. I was also thinking of bringing Jota back into the team, but I'm still revising some options which I have. So for this guy, I'm looking at bringing in probably Torres from Manchester City, and he has really been in good form. As you can see, 8.0, and I think he's one person who could really feature in his resultant fixtures and be able to deliver some massive points for us. So I think that's how my draft pick looks like for the wildcard, and as you can see, I've exhausted all funds. My midfield is looking really strong, I think, in terms of assists, goals, and then also maybe some clean sheets as well. So up front, we're also going to have a newcomer, Lukaku, and then Locadia. For Lukaku, this game week fixture, as you can see, his next fixtures, he has fixtures against Tottenham and Man City in game week 5 and 6 respectively. Strong fixtures, if I'm to say, but with his previous performances in his previous game weeks, I think he'll look to continue on his good run, following his 13 points which is scored in game week 4. And with this form and selection by the fantasy managers at 29.4, I think it's also another must-have into your team in case you can afford him. So for the other person maybe I'll be looking at to deliver points will be Rafinha from Leeds against Newcastle away. We're hoping to maybe get some goals and maybe an assist from him, and be able to increase on his total points, as you can see. So he's already selected by 15.8% of the FPL managers, and I think he's going to be one of those people we're looking out for ahead of this Game Week 5 fixtures. Another person to really stand out ahead of this Game Week 5 fixtures and also increase in transfers from various FPL managers is Demarai Gray, who's going to face Aston Villa in his Game Week 5 fixture. Now, he has been able to deliver total points of 26 points. In Game Week 4, he was able to bring up 7 points because he was able to score, and as you can see, he's already selected by 14.6% of the managers. So we're looking out for a standout performance from him, and also hoping he features in our Game Week 5 fixture. So at the back, as you can see, we brought in Trent to the team, and he's going to feature against Crystal Palace and then also Brentford in Game Week 6. So good fixtures lined up for him, so we're hoping for massive points from him. I was looking at downgrading him and then bringing in someone maybe who features more, much as he also features. Thinking of downgrading his price tag, and then maybe bringing in someone also constant, either Van Dijk or maybe Robertson. But for now, we're going to look at Robertson because of his attacking mindset, and then hopefully maybe also get an assist from him. So for the other replacement, we're going to have up front. I'm looking for options for Torres, and for now I think maybe I have my eyes set on Jota. Let's see if we can afford him, and yes, at 7.7 I think I can be able to still afford him. So Yes, and this is how my team is going to line up. I think here's my final selection, and my team I think looks pretty much strong. So I'm hoping for massive points ahead of this Game Week 5 fixture. So I'm just going to activate my wildcard chip, and that's how we're going to dive right in ahead of our Game Week 5 deadline, 17th September. So my wildcard chip is activated, and yeah, so we've definitely used the wildcard chip, so that's how we're going to feature. And for my team selection, I'm just going to have a quick look at it right now at how my team will look like. So these are my team looks like following our wildcards, and as you can see, the new additions have already been included in the squad. Almost how I'm looking to line up ahead of the Game Week 5 deadline. And as you can see, in goal I'm going to maintain Sanchez. For my backline options, I'm going to look at Shaw from Manchester United, Robertson, who is going to face Crystal Palace, and then White, who is going to face Burnley. For my midfield options, I'm going to look at Jota, Gray, Salah, and then Rafinha. So we're going to have a small change up front for Locadia, who I'm going to replace with Markle from Wolves. So we're going to go with a 4-4-2 lineup ahead of our Game Week 5 fixture. And for my captaincy pick as well, I'm going to maintain Salah up front, and then for the vice pick, I'm going to give it to Ronaldo. So that's how my team is going to look ahead of my Game Week 5 deadline. So wish me luck and Godspeed. And don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment and let me know